James King Baskin, and I'm here with, man, how do I describe this? Long time follower of this guy, pickup coach, male development, online guru for dating and self-confidence and pickup, Aaron Alexander of Evolution Daily, man. I'm going to let you describe to people like who you are and what you do.
Yeah, man. So I started Evolution Daily about 3 years ago. I've been full-time now. I haven't had a job in about 3 years and 2 months. And I know a lot of your listeners are going to be people that are entrepreneurs and everything. And so I wanted to kind of lead with that. And basically what I do is I help men to meet women, essentially. Now, there's a lot of nuance to that, right? I mean, I help guys with relationships. I help guys go out in daytime settings, nighttime settings, go out, start interactions with women, overcome the fear that so many men are crippled by when it comes to approaching women. Most men are living their entire lives, and they're at the post office, they're at the grocery store, they're at the club, the bar, whatever. They're seeing these hot chicks. They give themselves, man, like what I wouldn't give to have a girl like that, and they never do anything about it. So I teach men how to do something about it. And then, of course, there's more nuance to it as well. I'm big on masculinity, testosterone replacement therapy, tons of other things that I talk about on my YouTube channel.
That's awesome, man. And how did you get started in all this? That's a great question for you.
I was a student of it, dude. I was a student of this shit, man. I've got so many videos where I tell my full story, and I'll give a quick little recap here. Basically, I grew up as a fat kid, right? Grew up very overweight, got into high school, got really bad acne. And overall, I had no confidence when it came to women. I always had friends. I always was decently social. But when it came to women, when my friend group would interact with any other group of girls, even at a very young age, I was always just left out. I was outcasted. I was friend zoned over and over and over again. And I got a little bit older, and my whole life was kind of derailed after high school. I just got deep into alcoholism. I was just getting wasted, raging all the time. At my absolute peak weight, I was 290 pounds, and I'm 5'11", so I was a pretty big dude. And I discovered pickup. I discovered what I teach now, and it blew me away to such a level, right? I have guys that watch my content, and they'll tell me, yeah, man, I've been watching for like a year, and I haven't gone out and done it yet. I've been watching other pickup coaches, and I haven't gone out and actually tried to talk to any women. Dude, I was so blown away by the fact that men were teaching other men how to pick up women that I was out the next night. And this is still me being very overweight, me being basically still an alcoholic. I had to get drunk to do this at the beginning, right? But I started noticing, oh man, like, yeah, sure, I'm drunk and I'm fat and whatever, but like, girls are talking to me. Women are at least interacting with me. And then slowly but surely, I started to get a little bit better at talking to women. And then I realized, hey, let's be real here. You're incredibly overweight. You do not look good. You do not look attractive. So after being fat my entire life, pickup was what motivated me to actually lose the weight. Now, some would say that, whatever, man, it's not the healthiest motivation, because it was to get chicks. I don't give a fuck, dude. All right? I was motivated by going out meeting women. So I lost the weight. Acne cleared up. A few years after that, I got entirely sober, started my business. Here I am, the happiest I've ever been.
Love it. And before I forget it, what is your social media handles? How can we find you?
Evolution Daily on everything. So YouTube is Evolution Daily. On for the podcast, which I just launched, and I'm going to be having you on there eventually. On iTunes and Spotify, you can either search Aaron Alexander Evolution Daily. Right now, there's not. I just launched it, so there's very few listens. So it's actually not ranking for a couple of the words I want it to, but whatever. Evolution Daily on everything.
Awesome. And you actually talked about something that, like, it kind of parlays into like one of the reasons why I definitely want to bring you on. There's so many people out there that are posting, pick up this, pick up that. So you've not only turned it into a business, but you're there for your students, but you also talked about the one side of things I don't think I hear about too much, and the self-care you took for yourself before you went deep. Can you talk about that a little bit, like the self-care for yourself that you started with?
Yeah, so my philosophy on all of this, right, is guys are, there's going to be somebody that watches this video because this voice is out there. There's going to be somebody that's right here right now watching this video and they're like, the pickup shit is bullshit, man. Like the pickup stuff doesn't work. You can't just learn how to get better with women. Some guys are just born with it, blah, 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 whatever. Here's my philosophy on all of this. Pickup is 2 steps, all right? Step number 1 is create the best product you possibly can, just like in business, okay? It's like, the best product that you possibly can, i.e., going to the gym, getting your mind right, like whatever weird battles and demons that you have going on, working on that, whether it's with a therapist or through self-development books or whatever. Making money, like definitely either start a business or get a better job, focus on your career, whatever. Overall, all of that is your product, right? Now, part 2 is going out and presenting that product, okay? You can be Brad Pitt with $1 billion in a fucking sports car, but if you're at the top of the tower with no windows or you're in your mom's basement, then you're not going to meet chicks. So going out and presenting yourself, introducing yourself to women, having conversations with them. So what a lot of guys are doing is they're trying to circumnavigate part 1. They don't want to work on themselves. They don't want to focus on their finances. I see guys in my Facebook group all the time. What do I take this girl on a date? What date should I take this girl on? I have $15. Get more than $15, then go meet women. Like, get your shit straight and then start doing this shit, right? Now just quick little nuance. I'm not going to rant about this forever, but a little nuance there. You don't have to have your life at its absolute peak in order for you to start talking to women, but you need to be on the up and up. Like, you need to be focusing on those other areas. And even if it's a very slow incline, it needs to be inclining and while you're meeting women. So that's the primary thing there.
Absolutely, man. I couldn't agree more. I think, you definitely be some places call it like our monk mode, so to speak, but like you need to be like focused on yourself and self-care and self-love, which means, taking care of responsibilities before you just go out there. And I think a lot of people are just like running around with their head cut off. And I see it I've seen it on some groups and some YouTube videos. It's like, they're like, why can't I get laid? And they're like overweight, or they like, that's such a good example. The best product out there. I think I'm just going to leave it alone like that. Like I kind of reiterate that. That's so well said. Like and I think we were talking beforehand, like I had this girl that was like, I was like literally letting her pay for all my stuff. And it's like, that's where I was at a point. And it's kind of funny with how you put that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've also been like longtime follower of your stuff. Stuff has definitely helped me. And I've never even purchased a thing from you. And that actually, brings up for anyone that's listening, his social media handles, but also you have a bunch of offers for people that can kind of like get into your circle. Like what offers are you offering?
First of all, how dare you never buy one of my courses, bro?
Sorry,
I'm deeply offended. No, I'm just playing. So I mean, basically, I have I have a digital course, right? It's my flagship course. It's called Thrive. It's Thrive Day Game. It teaches guys how to go out during the daytime. So a lot of guys, you and I had a conversation before this interview began about how, business, right, can eat up so much of your time, and the pursuit of women or dating in general can also eat up so much of your time. So my big philosophy is that you should be able to learn, and this is what Thrive does, is it teaches men how to integrate game into their life. So rather than having to always go out and do pickup, instead of that, it's like, all right, so as I'm just living my day-to-day life, how can I meet women? And it runs you through my whole formula for just how to spark up conversation with a chick at the grocery store, on the street, at the coffee shop, run an interaction from there, get her number, whatever, right? And then I do a Skype mentorship program, and that's a 5-week program. And then my premium offers my one-on-one boot camp that I do. And that's a whole weekend of just me and you and me just putting you through fucking hell, man. No, not really, but
I mean,
I push you.
I feel like the boot camp is like where it's at. Cause I mean, tell me if you can relate to this. This is like, on topic, a little off topic, how much content do you think you consumed at certain points before you actually took action on it? And I think you're a good example of like, I would just consume everything. And I wasn't that guy that went out the next day. I was that guy that was like feared up. You know, you probably run into that with guys,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, big time. All the time, all the time. I just got a comment the other day and then I ranted about it in one of my recent videos. A guy who said, been watching you for 3 years, haven't made an approach. And I'm like, God bless it, bro. Like, come on, let's get out here. Let's do this. So the boot camp, I've had guys that are already, you know, I just had a guy recently who he's like, yeah, I've slept with 80 chicks. I've had a bunch of girlfriends. And, you know, he's just like, I just want to learn more. Right. And then I have guys that have made their first ever cold approaches ever on my boot camp. So that's kind of the range of guys that I get on that program.
And that it actually brings up a question that I'm just curious, like, what's been the reaction like overall? Not so much as like your hometown or whatever, but like what's been the reaction overall from both like male and female about what you do? Like when people find out.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's always mixed, right? It's really across the board. I have a bunch of chicks in my life, and not only girls in my life, but also girls that I've just met, you know, and maybe we never talked again or whatever, that I tell them straight up about what I do. You know, they know all about it and they think it's awesome. They're like, yes, guys need this. Now, you know, maybe some of the content, it gets a little edgy and they're kind of like, I don't know about all that, whatever. But overall, most people are pretty on board with the fact that men need this, right? Then you also have the radical feminists who think that a man leaving the house with any sort of intent to get laid, even though that is primarily why most men are leaving the house when it comes to night game scenarios, when it comes to bars and clubs.
Sure.
If you really get to the root of it, a major, major part of it, guys can say all they want, I just like to go out and have some beers with friends. You're fucking hoping something happens because you've seen so many movies where it does, and you're hoping that something happens and you just don't want to admit it. So what we're doing is we're actually we're admitting our intent, right? So yeah, I mean, I could rant on that for hours, but for me personally, the response has been very mixed. I've had people that are like, this is disgusting, I can't believe you're teaching men how to manipulate women, and this is so unnatural and blah blah blah. And then I've had plenty of actually really intelligent, smart chicks that are like, yeah, guys need this. I've had so many creepy guys try to hit on me. Learning pickup isn't creepy. What's creepy is not learning how to be good with women.
Yep.
That's what's way fucking worse. Because guys that aren't good with women, okay, if I send a kid out and I teach him how to be calibrated, how to be empathetic, which is huge in what I teach, how to have these great engaging conversations. If I send that kid out versus the dude at the bar that had to get so blacked out that he now has the balls to just like grab a girl's ass or dance behind her without her asking for it, like it's night and day, you know?
Yep. It's interesting, man. Like I've even taken some of your principles and it's crazy how like it's 2019 right now. And like, there's so much stuff that we see every single day. I don't even watch the news, but somehow it makes its way into my life with
Dude, you
like
can't escape.
all this stuff. And it's like what used to be like safe in certain aspects of like mindset and thinking. It's like now, how dare you think that? Like when 5 years ago, people wouldn't even give a shit. And weird, and a lot of it just goes back to subconscious thinking, I think. And I've applied some of your stuff. I mean, I speak Spanish, and I literally, there was a girl I was outside in the rain with at the gym, and I literally was like speaking Spanish, and next thing you know, she's like showing me her phone. Next thing you know, we're just kind of flirting and talking, and all in Spanish, and it was just cool. Nothing even transpired out of it. So I guess then, but it was like confidence at a whole nother level, and I wasn't even worried about the outcome. You know what I mean?
Boot camp student this last weekend, okay? Really hot chick is walking through the mall. And I'm like, go talk to her. We had just started for that day, and he was pretty nervous. He decided not to. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to go do it then. So I go up and I approach this chick, right? Beautiful ginger chick, all right, just little hottie. And I started talking to her. And I just tell her, you know, straight up, I thought you were gorgeous. I wanted to come up and say, hey. She's like, oh my God, thank you, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you work here in the mall? She's like, yeah, I'm on my lunch break, blah, 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 whatever. Tells me she has a boyfriend. I'm like, all right, no problem. She's like, but that seriously made my day. Like that really made my day. She was so fucking happy. And these hardcore, again, like these just hardcore outrage culture, radical feminist Nazis, they want to be the ones, you can blur that word out if you want,
Sure.
but they they want to make it just seem so demonizing and so evil. And there's so many situations that I've had where I have enriched women's lives through pickup. And I fully believe that to my absolute core.
Yeah. And I mean, just to kind of go off of that ginger chick, I mean, what if she's not hearing that at home? I'm not even saying like you're trying to like, pollute her thoughts or try to, get her to come your way. But it's like, what if she's not hearing that and you were that person?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not even at that point. It's just like, and that's what I like about your name of your company, Evolution Daily. And it's like, you weren't that creepy guy that was like just staring like out of fear.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can relate to this, but I used to be that guy that would just stare out of fear. I'm like not sure what to say. And if anything, I just made it more awkward by not being like true to myself.
Oh, before I began pickup, dude, before I started learning this shit, and then really even just knowing that it existed was a major milestone for me. It's like first I almost just want to run like this $1 million ad campaign and just like tell the world like this exists or something. Because it was like it was just finding out it existed gave me hope. That one little thing, right? Knowing that like, oh, men can learn this. This is a learnable skill. Because to me, I truly grew up thinking, oh, some of my buddies at school are good at it. Some of my buddies at school aren't. I'm also not. Some guys are good, some guys aren't. And I'm just in the camp of like, I'd come to terms with the fact that I would never sleep with a hot girl. I mean, I really like, I had a conversation with a buddy once, and I remember the conversation word for word, but we just kind of established that I would never sleep with a hot chick. And that was the reality that I actually accepted for myself. It was very strange, but yeah, there was lots of nights of me just standing at the bar looking at a chick, like really wanting to go talk to her. My buddies seeing that I'm looking and then me denying it. Like, no, I'm not. No, I mean, just weird stuff, man.
And hopefully people make their way all the way through this interview to this next question, because this is huge. And I have 100% experience with this, and I'm curious to know your feedback.
Yeah.
How many people, and this is deep, man, serious stuff and deep, how many people in your group that you work with message you and tell you that they were suicidal and you helped them?
I've gotten it a few times.
Yeah.
I've gotten it. I'd say probably about 5 times. One guy made me a whole video, and I watch this video probably like once a month, man. This guy made me this video, and he wasn't saying he was suicidal or anything. He was just like, man, like life is really hard, and I'm always just struggling to like, pay my bills and blah, 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 whatever. And I struggle with dating and blah, blah, blah. He's like, but man, like when I see that you have a new upload, it just like, you just make life more fun, man. And I was like, damn, that might be the most powerful compliment that I've ever gotten. More so than like, dude, I've had a guy meet his wife on my boot camp. Like I was involved. It was me, the student, and these 2 girls. Student ends up marrying one of the chicks. I've had crazy shit. But this guy just telling me that like my videos make his life more fun. I was like, which I think that's improper grammar. I don't think I'm saying that correctly. I don't care. It was just like, man, that's awesome. Like I'm making this guy's life fun. That was the one that I actually will always remember. And part of that is because he gave it to me in video form. But again, it's like just on those days where, man, I'm feeling motivated or unmotivated rather, and I just need to remember kind of like why I'm doing this. I'll watch this kid's vid, and I'm just like, damn, dude, like, all right. But yeah, I've also gotten so much deeper messages about guys that are like, yeah, dude, I was like really just losing a lot of hope in life, and you gave that to me.
And kind of just like, I'm gonna give some feedback for myself. You know what is depressing and dark other than pickup? People that like could not even go leave their house watching porn nonstop and then discovering something that actually can help them. I mean, I'll admit it, I struggled with that for a while. That's dark and depressing versus like, actually going out there and communicating with the other sex. You probably hear a lot about that as well.
Oh yeah. Porn addiction is huge, man. It is so bad. It's terrible. I have had so many guys reach out to me. I've had women that I've met tell me about, and this isn't like one or two times, I've probably talked to maybe like 15 to 20 women now, whether it was just like maybe a girl I'm sleeping with or a girl that I just end up in a long conversation with on a date or whatever, that they've told me about ex-boyfriends of theirs that were addicted to porn. So it's not just in our little sphere of the online, like pick up MGTOW, red pill, no fap world. No, it's also like Jennifer was dating Craig from OSU and Craig stopped wanting to have sex with her because he's addicted to porn. Yeah. It's tricking our brains into thinking that we have something that we don't. Because if you're just jacking off, back before the internet, if you're just jacking off to images in your head, you know, thinking about Vanessa at school, it probably still motivated you to want to go get Vanessa at school. Yeah. But now I can have Janice Griffith and Riley Reid like right here. Why do I need to leave the house? So, but over time, it's almost like a subconscious poison drip where maybe you are conscious of it, but over time, I think like there's this unconscious little drip by drip by drip where you're just going to snap and be like, I've been addicted to porn for 10 years and have never had an intimate relationship with a woman. And it's caused me to objectify women in a way where, dude, I just, little side thing here. I'm not going to go too far off track here, but little side thing. So many of the criticisms of the pickup community and pickup in general, they are accurate, okay? They are. I agree with most negative criticisms about pickup. That is a big part of why I don't have very many collaborations on my YouTube channel. I am very careful about who I get associated with. I've had multiple other coaches, like bigger channels, reach out to me to collab, and I've said no. And a big part of why is because a lot of guys are creepy as shit. And so what I was going to say is that porn will also create this distance and this objectification of women amongst men, and it will create actually angry men. Men don't want to have a genuine connection with a woman. What they want is they just want to fuck because that's all they view women, that's all they see the value in women as is just an object of fuck. And so they're actually going out and doing pickup from an angry place, man. They actually they're pursuing women, but they hate women. And you can tell by their posts, you can tell by the things they say. And these are the ones that come back and they're like, it doesn't fucking work for me and I don't know why and da-da-da. It's because you're not empathetic. You're not having an actual connection with women. So, and I think porn actually can be, it's not going to be the only cause of that, but I think that it can be a side effect actually of consuming porn for too long.
It's crazy, man. And we could talk so much in depth about it now. And it just is that's evolving into its whole nother animal. Now we got 3D stuff and even more stuff to keep guys from when I heard about that, I was like, oh, jeez, man. And it, not that it, obviously it's your job, Evolution Daily, but I mean, pretty much what we're talking about. And I hope, I'm going to put this in the headline for anyone that's a doubter or questioning, what you do to watch this whole video, and they'll see, and you can relate to this. Probably girls have told me when I was younger or in my 20s, hey, you should go talk to that girl, a friend of mine. They're encouraging it, actually go up to that girl. Or they might have a boyfriend, I'm still friends with them, and they'll be like, you really should go to that. And I think there's probably a good bit of people that are naysayers, and they become the vocal ones when most people don't even give a shit, and it's the vocal ones that get all the attention. And it's bad to do this, it's bad to do that. And it man, just I'm kind of recapping everything we talked about so far because it's deep. It's to take someone, and I'm not saying that no, you're not the human power, they had to do it themselves internally, but to take someone, coach them from a point of depression, suicide, not want to leave the house, to leaving the house, feeling better about themselves, meeting girls, talking to girls, sleeping with girls, whatever it may be, that sounds like a whole better type of quality person, finding a job, investing in themselves versus mom's basement, porn, sleeping all day, angry at women. I'm going to regret this. Those dudes are the ones that are we see on the news just snapping, you know what I mean? And some terrible shit happens.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yep. Well, yeah, now they have communities. Now they have full-on communities where
oh shit,
rather than, they have full-on communities rather than having to face this, they choose to just form little alliances with each other and just shit on the rest of the world around them. It's insane, man. It's really dark. Like, it's actually very sad because I think a lot of these guys that they take it so far as to now identify themselves as incels, right? Like they're on incel.org or whatever the hell the website is, like the famous
something
one.
like that.
They've now said, you know what? It's so hard to meet women. I am so opposed to putting forth that level of effort. I'm now going to join a community where and identify as such. And it's a dark place to be in, I'm sure.
It's crazy, man. And I actually do want to talk about this. This is actually probably going to go in the headline of this video. Tell me about like this guy that found his wife on one of the pickup things. I want to hear this story real quick.
Yeah, so basically so this is a guy who is actually probably going to become the first, well, I guess the second coach for my business, actually, me being the first and only for so many years now. This guy actually might end up becoming the next coach of Evolution Daily. Him and I have been in talks about it for a while. He started off doing my mentorship program years ago, and then he would just keep re-upping for it. I just brought him from a place of he just got out of a toxic relationship, really needed to like go put himself back out there, whatever. Over the years, he ends up after taking the mentorship program with me a bunch of times, and we're becoming good friends at that point because we're talking week after week after week. He takes the boot camp with me. On the boot camp, he ends up again. We're talking to these two chicks, and after I leave Los Angeles, this is where this took place. He ends up over time starts dating this girl, starts sleeping with this chick, and then ends up marrying her. It's insane, man. It's crazy. I've had guys, I don't know if I've had another guy meet a girlfriend on the boot camp, but I've had other guys that are like, the day after this boot camp, I met my girlfriend. Like it's crazy.
That's solid, dude. And I'm definitely adding that to the title because it's like you can't argue against that. And you were part of that product to create that. Like you were there, you're in the guy's ear. I mean, I watch your stuff and that going too deep into your processes, but like you're like literally like helping them in the moment past that point.
Just a little side note. I just want to say this, and this isn't to like pitch my boot camp to somebody watching. This is just to talk about business in general. The worst thing that I ever hear in my life that I hate the most is when a guy tells me they took a boot camp with somebody before and they tell me a variety of stories about like he couldn't find the coach for most of the night. The coach was actually just like with his girlfriend the whole night and just like hanging out. Buddy of mine, one of my best friends took, they're called RSD. They don't even teach pickup anymore. Like paid thousands of dollars for one of their boot camps. And he was like, dude, they like sat on the curb and talked all night and we'd come up, they'd talk to us for a minute and then say like, go approach 10 more girls. And I'm like, it disgusts me, bro. It disgusts me. And so I am like on my boot camps, dude, I am just like, I'm so on the student the whole time. It's crazy. Like just really making sure that I'm giving tons and tons of attention. And I just think that anybody that's watching this, that's involved in any sort of coaching, I just think that they should really strive for that because, giving that sort of attention and value that makes somebody then say to their friend, yeah, the boot camp was amazing, man. Like you should really consider it. Right. So yeah, that's just something I really pride myself on.
And we were talking a little bit about this beforehand. Do you ever take any time off from going out and doing pickup nonstop?
Yeah, I mean, I'll have different periods, right? Like when I was launching my day game course last year, I was so bad about hitting my personal deadlines that for like 2 weeks before I launched that day game course, I was working the longest days I'd ever worked in my life. I was in a maniac like frenzy trying to get this shit done. And dude, I don't know, I maybe like hung out. I definitely didn't game. I definitely wasn't gaming, like going out to meet new women. And even when it comes to the chicks I already had on my life, I maybe had like one of them over twice or something like that. So it's a weird, something we were talking about before that I think is just kind of cool to share with people is it's like with business, a lot of the times when men are like, all right, I need to really focus on business, the thing they stop focusing on is like women. And for me, I really can't do that. And I wouldn't even want to. I'm not complaining like, oh, boo hoo, woe is me. But it's just a weird kind of oxymoron where it's like, that is my business essentially, is going out and meeting women. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it's wild, like thinking about like having you on here, interviewing you. And I remember when you were launching Thrive, it was like some issue happened or something popped up, and it
Dude, it was so bad, bro. It was so bad. I'm like getting anxiety thinking about it. Both of my two launches I've ever done were hellish experiences, dude. They were so bad. And it's because I tried to do everything on my own. It was because I tried to build these whole websites all on my own and this and that, because I was in a scarcity mindset and didn't realize, oh, the $1,500 to me back, dude, I used to not be able to rationalize a $1,500 expense. When $1,500 is like half of your net worth, it's like, holy shit, that's a lot of money.
yeah.
Not realizing like, oh, but maybe spending that $1,500, making sure the job is right, one, creates like a more professional and trustworthy brand. And two, who knows how many people tried to sign up in the first 48 hours of my site being down that weren't hardcore fans enough to come back after the site was back up. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, just multiple site crashes on my launches and just going through pure hell, staying up for 48 hours to learn ClickFunnels. I'd never had a ClickFunnels account before. So I'm not only trying to now make a little membership site, but I'm learning how to use ClickFunnels. It was ridiculous.
It's crazy, man. And if people watch this far and they'll hear me talk about it also, but like, man, can I relate to that? Like myself, like I had a terrible launch, and I'll probably post about it just so that way it's like Eminem 8 Mile freestyle. If I just say it out loud, you can't use it against me. Like,
Yeah.
but man, like I remember that happening, and I didn't know that scarcity mindset, and I just relate to that so much. And I think it's a good example. Like we could talk about business forever, but like so many people, and business and pickup kind of go very similar. So many people can like read a million business books, get a million degrees, and they will not ever take that first step out of failure. So many people will probably consume every single pickup content, every book, you name it, whatever, and they'll never make an approach. And it's not until you actually go out there. I mean, business, you're going to screw up. Same thing with pickup. You know, you're going to make mistakes.
I feel like I could just I feel like I could just sum up. I feel like so much of life just comes down to having a willingness to be embarrassed. Everything. Everything. Like the most famous comedians in the world, they had to have a willingness to bomb, to just do horrible on stage. To go talk to a woman, you have to have the willingness to be embarrassed. To put yourself out there like you're doing as we speak on video, or this launch that you had, like any form of vulnerability on a grand scale of like, hey world, this is who I am. Like, and most people are not willing to deal with embarrassment. Just a little side thing there.
Sure, no, man. I mean, and embarrassment or judgment from their critics or peers. I think pretty much the same thing in a nutshell. But I definitely want to plug this real quick as we're closing in. Tell me about this Facebook group you got going on.
Yeah, so Evolution Daily Facebook community. It's if you guys decide to check out the YouTube channel and you want to take a deeper dive and just have more of my content and actual written posts and stuff like that, and also just engage in a community of guys that are out here trying to get better with women and upgrade their lives. It's if you just search Evolution Daily on Facebook, it'll come up as a group. Facebook.com/group/Evolution Daily.
Awesome. And I know for a fact that this video, someone's going to watch this and get help. And get help isn't like they're not doing okay now, but I guess, there's also that person that will watch this and they've never told anyone, they're not feeling okay in their life. And then all of a sudden they watch this, they find your content, and it has nothing to do with me. I'm just like the internet, there's bad things on the internet, but it's just like they're going to know me somehow. They're going to find your content and they're going to feel more confident. And it's happened to me. I know it will happen for at least one person. And that to me, as I'm saying this, like there's still this thought, like, what about this one girl that you know thinks this way? That to me, the one guy finding it outweighs, coulda, woulda, because that guy will improve his life in some kind of way that I'll probably never know. He'll probably never tell me. You'll probably never know unless he works with you individually. And it will have some kind of positive effect, because there's something to be said, and you can relate to, I'm tying this into back to you. Like when a guy goes out there and he gets that number for the first time ever of approach, cold approach, there's something to be said about that moment. I know what it's like for myself, and you get to see it daily. Tell me about that moment.
Yeah, so the first one that comes to mind is a guy that there's two that are, as soon as you said that, they immediately came to mind. One was on a boot camp, and it was just, this isn't like who most people would picture either. When I say that this guy's like never gone up and done a cold approach, people probably imagine like some really nerdy, shy guy. Nah, like this is a dude who had already slept with some chicks, pretty decent looking guy. But it was always only through his friend circles. And as he's getting older and traveling more and like trying to take full control of his life, he's like, nah, man, I don't want to, just because I don't have a group of friends in New York, I still want to be able to meet women, right? So this dude, when we were down in Miami, he just, he was telling me, he's like, this is going to be my first cold approach ever. It's my first cold approach ever. And he goes up and he talks to this hot-ass chick down in Miami, goes up, talks to her, gets her number, and he just comes back and he just looks like a little kid, man. He's just like, oh my God. He's like, I was freaking out. He's like, did you see that? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I was watching it, man. Like, and he was just freaking out, going crazy about it. Another guy, just very similar story. He had never done a cold approach, signs up for my Skype calls. And he's like, yeah, man, like I keep telling myself I'm gonna go out and do what you're saying to do in your videos. I'm not doing it, so I need coaching from you. So he signs up for coaching with me. Something I do on the mentorship program is like, I will talk to guys with these earbuds. So they'll have me in their pocket, and then I'll talk to them while they're actually out doing day game. And so while we were talking, he had approached his first girl ever, and he was just going crazy. He's like, dude, I'm like high right now. So it's incredible, man.
What's going to happen when you get the AirPods? Is that going to be like game changer? Like,
you know what I bought? I bought it off of Amazon. It's like skin color, and it's just one little bud, and it goes in your ear. And it looked so great online, and it's okay. It's still kind of cool, but you can noticeably see it poking out of the ear. I need to find – I'll pay so much money for this. I need to find one that is absolutely tiny, that it will not be able to be seen by women. Because if I can do that, then I can talk to the students at night game as well. Because day game, I just have them wear the earbuds, and all that a girl's going to think is like, he was listening to some music. That's all they're going to think. Yep. They don't know like, oh, he's on the phone with his pickup coach. So yeah, I need to get I need to find a tiny one for nighttime.
What about the glasses? Did you see those yet? They're sunglasses that you don't have to have them in your ear, but because it's like on your face with sunglasses, it actually goes into your ear. You can hear it. Like they're literally sunglasses that you can wear as sunglasses, and you can hear what's going on.
Well, then that wouldn't work at night. So that still would work during the daytime, but at night that would be problematic.
That cool guy in the club that wears the sunglasses.
Yeah. Maybe for some of my black students. Joe Rogan says that's only black guys can pull off sunglasses at night. I agree with him.
Joe Rogan, that's great. That's funny. But what about whatchamacallit, closing in, what about the dating app scene? I know you have some thoughts on that, closing out. What about the dating app scene?
So a lot of guys think that I'm and also too, man, I'm really enjoying this. We can go as long as you want, man. I got till about 5:30. I'm having fun, so whatever you want to do here. But so a lot of guys think that I'm completely against dating apps. I'm not against dating apps at all. I think that if you have 0 women in your life and you want to have women in your life, that you shouldn't be a man that's living in constant desire of the things that he can't have, telling himself that he can't have them. So for me, if a guy has no women and he wants women, he should be going out doing cold approach. He should be on Tinder. He should be on Bumble. He should be on whatever else I don't even know about anymore. Okay, Cupid. He should be going to meetup groups. Like, do everything, right? That being said, the online dating scene, Tinder and all that, it has skewed to such a weird place where I just think that from years of what would the word be? Sensitization, desensitization, um, from women just getting man after man after man after man, dude after dude after dude, just saying things to them of, God, you're so hot. What's a guy got to do to take you on a date? Baby girl, hey, blah, blah, blah. I have now met so many girls. Again, because the reason why, like, in this interview, I've had multiple times where I'm like, and I've talked to girls that say this, is because I love this shit so much that I'm teaching that I don't, the conversation won't be like, hey, girl, tell me about this for my research. But I bring all this up when I'm talking to chicks. And Tinder is a big one that gets brought up. And I have met so many girls now that they say straight up, they go, I never meet up with anybody. They'll go, yeah, I have it, but I don't meet up with anybody. And they will all admit, so many of them, that they have it because it makes them feel so good to have so many dudes pouring in. It's the same as, dude, you make a Facebook post and you're like, man, that's a really good post. I hope my audience really enjoys it. It gets 100 likes. And you feel really good about it. Now imagine it's like women. I've never said this before. I'm thinking this for the first time. So it's like getting that 100 likes on a post, but women, their biological destiny, I took that term from Handmaid's Tale. Their biological destiny is to reproduce. At their very core, so much of their desire is to reproduce, right? It's to reproduce and it's to be protected. And so now imagine every one of those likes on Instagram or on Facebook is now a dude begging to meet your highest desire, like your most core instinct, right? Like, please sleep with me. Please go on a date with me. Please sleep with me. Please go on a date with me. Love your tits. Love your ass. Love your face. Love your tits. Over and over and over again. That must be intoxicating. And again, I've just thought about this for the first time, but it must be intoxicating. And last thing I'll say on it is that I don't, with pickup, okay, I can maybe not be a girl's ideal match physically, but when she hears how fucking charismatic I am when we're talking, when I'm able to, really vibe with her, really get physical in the right ways, be funny, all of that, I can make a woman attracted to me that otherwise wouldn't have been. Whereas on Tinder, if you are not an incredibly good-looking guy with also photo shoot models, like photo shoot photos, then you're going to have a hell of a time meeting any quality chick on Tinder. And that's all there is to it. Like, looks are everything on Tinder. And if you're not the best looking dude, you're going to put in a lot of time and effort. You're going to have a lot of chicks that are, having full-blown conversations with you and then blocking you because it's not going to sound bad. It's just the majority of younger women. Okay. So you take the 20 to 25-year-old man versus the 20 to 25-year-old woman. The man he's maybe in college. He's trying to get a business together. He's looking into mortgages and building credit and buying a house and all this shit. And I'm around these girls all the time. And this isn't to say there's anything wrong with this. But women that are very feminine, and it's good to be feminine, they're not as driven. They don't have as many goals. And guys will always say, like, I want a girl with all these ambitions and goals and whatever. And it's like, yeah, I understand that. But also, I'm extremely attracted to a feminine woman that wants to just come into my life, into my ecosphere. So just long-winded rant there, man.
Yeah, no, there's a lot, man. And I wanted to let you just, say what you're going to say. And I haven't been on a dating app in a couple of years. So it's got to be like 3 to 4 years now. And definitely had a lot of experience with it. And, hookups, whatever, it's fine, cool. But also, like, man, how do I say this? I'm trying to say this in the best way. Because now from what I'm hearing, so I don't have experience with it now, and I don't plan on downloading any kind of app, but I'm hearing now that you can, like, actually do video. And I'm like, that's great because of catfish stuff. I've definitely had that happen. But I feel like that's going to create some kind of – this could just be us, like, talking in general. That's going to create some kind of subculture of and the girls have the power on Tinder. We both know that, and they're gonna like they've already been some have already been doing this. Like, but that's gonna create some kind of subculture of girls that will like literally we're never even gonna leave anyways, but charging guys money. I feel like that's already happening.
Oh, that's already happened. Oh, dude, that's huge. That's so big. That's huge right now.
Crazy.
The video dating app thing, I remember I had thought, I think Google is listening to our thoughts now because I remember I had thought of that as an idea and it was like a year ago. And then I got an ad for it right afterwards. And it was a video exclusive dating app where you can't just take like a little selfie. You have to have videos that meet certain criteria. So it's like, what's your occupation? Video, right?
Mm,
Hey, I'm Aaron and I blah, 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 which is great, man, because then you get to really see somebody, you get
sure.
to hear their voice,
Yeah.
how they talk. But that's the problem is that it's so good that it'll never work.
Yeah.
You are being forced to be vulnerable and people don't want to be vulnerable anymore, man. We all want everything as easy as it can possibly be.
Yeah. It's crazy, man, because I think of some of that stuff and just kind of I'm probably going on my own tangent and going deep. Some of the stuff that I've seen and been asked, I was just like, I've even asked girls, do people actually do that? Like pay for my meal and pay for my Uber Eats and deliver it to my house. And I'd be like, what? And some guys, the only reason they're only asking because someone's done it before. And that's crazy.
It's insane. Guys get off on it. It's actually like it's a psychological thing, financial domination. It's pretty crazy. It's a weird world.
Yeah, I mean I mean, I know what it's like to be on the other side and like, having a girl like, take care of some expenses and stuff like that. And who doesn't want that? Maybe that's like, a fantasy of some guys, but like the actually like, here's all my money, take it all. And it was funny. I'm not gonna name the girl, but literally right before we were talking, I was messaging with one of my friends, and when we were talking, and she may watch this, she may not, but the odds of her watching this are not that high. And so I'm gonna keep her name out anyways. But we're talking about her sugar daddy, and I'm messaging with her, and me and this girl go way back, and she's like, "Yeah, my sugar daddy, like he was gay the whole entire time," and I'm like, "Dude, this is the most interesting, unique conversation ever." But she was like, "Yeah, he would just pay me money anyways," and I'm like, I'm following up with, "Rent's got to get paid either way."
Yep.
And it's just funny, like I'm kind of like contradicting myself because on one spectrum I'm talking to this person and I got no hate or animosity to this person. I think it's whatever, and she's feminine in her own way, taking care of herself, and it's just interesting as like this ecosystem is a good word you said, that like men will, like, instead of confidence in themselves, that's how this was created, where they just want to pay for everything and there's not even sex involved or not even like any kind of physical. It's just like like lack of confidence and commitment created that.
I have a buddy who he was doing some sugar babying and he was doing something kind of interesting actually. Like he wasn't going the usual routes. So your girl, your female friend there that was a sugar baby for this dude, she probably was on like Seeking Arrangements or some other website or something like that and met him. What my buddy was doing is he was just like he would basically slide into a girl's DMs, right? And see if she was interested in him. But he wasn't straight up like, "Hey, let me give you $500." He would start hitting on them normal first.
Mm.
And he would try to get a conversation going. Then when they wouldn't meet up with him, he'd be like, "What about, what about $500?" Something like that, whatever. But it was interesting. It was actually kind of cool, really, because he was banging some like really hot chicks off of this little like system that he had. But over time, he started telling me, and he's like a pretty degenerate guy. Like he's really smart. Really, he's got fucking money. He's killing it in life. But he's just like a more degenerate person, kind of like how I used to be. And he even told me, he was just like, "Man, it started to make me feel like shit." Let's just say one of the girls' names was Courtney. He's like, "Dude, it's like, I just fucking know she's here and pretending to care about what I just said because I'm paying her." And, he just told me like it actually got pretty dark for him. And this is a guy that you wouldn't expect to say that. Like he was pretty just like, "Yeah, I fucking bait another bitch." You know what I mean? And you wouldn't really expect it. And then he was like, "Yeah, dude, it got really dark there for a while." So I just think it's a bad rabbit hole to go down.
it's crazy, man. Like, kind of like wrapping us up, but like kind of talking about everything we talked about. Like, I'm thinking of people just last week talk about double standard, and we probably could have so many talks about double standards. I was listening to this girl, and I was talking with her, and and she was like, yeah, I mean, I went through a period of time where before I found my partner, I was just using dudes as we'll call a stunt cock, like literally
Hmm.
like just running through dudes. And she was, this is her own verbiage. Now, this doesn't apply to every single girl, not at all, but like her own words where she was like, if you were a guy, and even like basically just using men, and I got nothing bad to say about her, and that was like what she said, and I was like, it's so crazy how the double standard is like if a men's confident goes out there and wants to attract a female and knows how to talk to them and gets laid, like that's like a bad thing. Yet the same thing exists in the female aspect, and I'm going to say this one a little bit, and I want to hear what you have to say. There's also a lot of girls that I've talked to that I've talked with and I've even been with that have been like, I got a huge problem with pornography. And I've even messaged or texted girls and they're like, I'm so addicted to porn. But yet it's only men that are addicted to porn. It's so crazy the double standards that are out there.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I've only encountered. I don't think I've ever encountered that, man. I've had girls tell me that they watch porn, but I don't think I've ever had a girl like admit that she's like really really into it or
Really?
anything.
That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
crazy, man. I actually started following this girl on Instagram. That she's got, she's off on a huge like devoted to God lifestyle, which is awesome. That's cool. And but she was made the news about it, and I don't know her person. I just follow her because I think it's just interesting, and she's at one polar aspect. But I know a couple girls that I've talked to that have told me they're like, I'm spending hours watching porn, and
Whoa.
I mean, the younger me is like inside being like, that's cool, but then the me that's like older and more mature is like, man, it's crazy double standards out that can exist in females also. And obviously I'm definitely sure it's more male prevalent, but it's interesting with the double standards that exist nowadays.
It is, man.
But wrapped up on time, my whole team's messaging me right now, all this stuff. But
Cool.
I want to close this out. Anyone that wants to get in contact with you, what's the best way?
Best way would be I'll put my email out there, aaron@evolutiondaily.com. I put that out there pretty often. So yeah, you guys can check my stuff out over on YouTube. It's Evolution Daily. And then if you're just really like, man, I want to talk to this guy, hit me up, aaron@evolutiondaily.com.
And do you have any events coming up anytime soon, or any kind of programs that someone can? What's it, July, like August or September? Do you have anything coming up?
Nothing to plug. Nope.
Nothing plugged.
I
Okay,
just do nah, because right now I'm just doing one-on-one boot camp. So if they want to
you're
apply
all
for
booked up.
something, I'm booked up for a while. I'm like booked up until like November right now.
Wow.
So yeah,
So,
which kind of sucks because man, it's such a blessing to have people that are like, oh man, I can't do this boot camp because I really wanted to do it way sooner. I mean, I just and I have like too many clients right now. It's amazing actually. I'm super blessed.
one of the last little things I'm going to say about that, I watched you, and this is anyone business, whatever, hope. I watched you going from like having to fill a boot camp and having open-ins available to like now it's like you'd be like, "Yo, I got 3 openings and they're closing soon," and like now it's like, yeah, like, hey, look, I can't even help you until November. That's badass, dude. So, congrats to
Yeah,
you.
it's wild.
So, thank you again. I'm just gonna stop the recording real quick and just say some words to you real quick. So, thank you
Awesome,
again.
bro.
I appreciate you for having you on here, man.